When introducing blends, keep in mind that these are quite different than most of the other concepts that you will teach. There are beginning blends and end blends. There are two-letter blends, but there are also three-letter blends. When you are introducing the blends, keep in mind that some of your students, particularly if they are young, will need to do ST blends and SP blends and L blends and R blends and on and on and on. That enters you into an area that I would call blend hell because it feels as though you are not making any progress since you probably are still in closed syllables. Feel free to do either a few blends and then a digraph and then a few more blends and then maybe a silent E syllable and back and forth so that you can continue to make progress in other areas. Or for older students, particularly if they are in second grade and above, you may find that they only have trouble with one or two blends. If that's the case, don't teach every single blend, but rather focus on the ones that they are having difficulties with. If you are doing the yellow cards, they should be repeating the word that you say and then spelling the blend. So, for example, you would say the blend you hear at the beginning of clip. They say clip and write and say CL. The blend you hear at the end of last is what you would prompt. They would say last, ST. When doing the white cards, the salmon and white cards, all of the blends will be on the white cards. Remember, they are not meant to provide the sound in isolation, but rather to read the words on the cards. Again, you don't have to have them read every single word on every single blend card every day. You can instead say, today we're reading the first word on all of the blend cards. And then once you feel that they truly have mastered blends, you can feel free to take those out of your salmon and white card decks. When doing trace copy cover, remember that there is not trace copy cover for blends because they typically add an after it. So instead, you will do a lot of segmenting and a lot of finger spelling. Just know that although many other programs do bl as a sound, that's actually two sounds, and we don't want to fill their working memory by making them remember bull, cold, full, pull, and a variety of other blends, but rather they should be able to decode and encode these sounds by just looking at them and going s, t, ah, p, and one finger for each consonant that you hear. When doing dictation, if you are working with students who you really need to break down the sounds, you may decide to do an entire week of L blends. First by doing BL, then the next day doing CL, then the next day doing FL. Most of you, however, will not need to break it down quite that much, and you may decide to do L blends for a day or two and then move on to R blends for a day or two. Just make sure that if you do have speech and language children in your group, that you're checking with the speech pathologist to first make sure that they can actually say those L and R sounds before you work on trying to have them read and spell them.